Welcome back. It's Valentine's Day as I record this, so there's a good chance I might not get much done right now, and this video may continue another night. Depends how much I get done, I suppose. So I'm back looking at the Pompom once again. Last time we sorted out the cab front. Now I'm looking at soldering on the cab windows. Where I took them off, they were just glued on. So let's take a look at what I'm doing this time. So I'm just looking at one side at a time. It's the left or right hand side I've already taken a look at. I've cleaned up and put some solder paste on and clamped in place gently. So I could do with another clamp here, but we'll have a think about that as we go. Let's show you what I've done. The window frame is this piece, and then there's a thin copper piece underneath. I believe that's been done because the window frame is going to sit on top of that copper angle there. So that piece just sits it down or sits it off the edge the same thickness as this, so that it can. So on this side I've already cleaned all this up, both sides, solder paste, cleaned the frame up on the underside, solder paste and clamped down. We're going to solder this, and while that cools down I can prep the other side. So I'm using these clamps again. I have put another one here. My intention being to start soldering here, and once that's stuck I shall take this clamp away by the time I get around to this area. It's a bit tricky because I don't want to melt the rubber that's on the handles. I tried taking it off, but it's just getting in the way. So yeah, I'll start here, get this bit stuck down, then I won't need this clamp anymore, then that can come out and get out of the way. So that was best part of getting on for 10 minutes soldering that. I will have cropped that down to show you because you don't want to see the whole thing. It's well boring. I was thinking about how it was going to look on the video while I was soldering it and thinking that's going to be boring to watch. So I'm just going to crop it down and show you some bits. But let's take a look at it now. So it wants a bit of cleaning up, but once the rough edges are gone, that should clean up quite nicely. We'll have a look. So there is the first side, mostly cleaned up. It's ready to go really. Still got to do the other side, which might be a bit more tricky with avoiding that repair we've got in the top. I will mention a couple of the tools I use. Well, I only really use one tool and some emery paper, but I've got a piece of tool steel in a screwdriver handle, which allows me to use it as a scraper to get into the corners and just scrape out the soft solder. I'll show it to you when I do the other side. So it's the day after Valentine's Day now, and I've just soldered this window frame up in the same way as the first, and I'd forgotten to speak to you before, but here is the piece of tool steel in a screwdriver handle which I mentioned yesterday, or a few minutes ago if you're watching now, and this is not showing it in the best light as it happens, but usually I'm able to use it like a scraper. To scrape away the solder. Which is especially useful in situations where you want a nice defined sharp corner. I don't know how well you saw that. That's come up nicer, and I can use it along the face as well, where I had a little drip of solder appear on the surface. Ordinarily I wouldn't push towards myself, but because there's that piece of angle there, that was providing protection. And as if by magic, and very quickly, we lose the build-up of solder around the edge. I'll get this finished and I'll come back to you. And there is the other side finished. Like I say, it's not quite perfect, it doesn't seem square, however it is what it is. I'm just tidying up what's there, not starting from scratch. So on to the next bit. So that is the pom-pom for now. I think it's just waiting for paint, really, the engine, and it's a bit cold to be starting looking at that at the moment, so it might be a month or so away before I start thinking about actually painting. In the meantime, there is the tender that wants looking at. Apparently it's got a leak on the tank, so the first thing will be strip the paint off the tender, try and find where the leak is, and then get the body off, resolder, sort all that out, and then get that ready for painting as well. Then it can all be painted together. And finally, there is one little just job, which is that little tripod you can see in the background. I will tell you about that one next time. It's come to me from a brother. And yeah, we will turn it into something a little bit different to what it is. So for now, thanks very much. Always so pleased that people actually want to watch this, and I will catch up with you soon. So take care.